right, Fromies, today's guest is Alessandra Conti. Alessandra is a celebrity matchmaker, expert dating coach, and co-founder of Matchmakers in the City, a Beverly Hills-based matchmaking service for successful professionals. Did I get that right?
That is exactly right.
Great. All right. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, you guys. It's so lovely to be here.
Yeah, we're pumped to have you. So like we said, we talk to a lot of friends. We get a lot of dating stories, but it's rare that we have a true professional on the show. So we are super pumped to have you here.
Yes, listen, I'm so ready.
Cool.
It's going to be a good show. I feel the East Coast energy.
Yes.
It's going to be a lively one. I like it.
Definitely.
Yeah. So do you want to give us a little background on how you got started, like in this world, and how Matchmakers got started?
Yeah, absolutely. So myself and my sister, we always set up our friends since before it was like socially acceptable to we always we call ourselves sandbox matchmakers. So we've been doing it for a really long time, just non-professionally. And then 10 years ago, we just said, you know what? Let's move to LA. My sister's name is Christina. She was getting her master's at Oxford. I was just finishing up my undergrad at American in DC. And we were like, let's just do it. Like, let's move to LA. Let's start a matchmaking company. And so we did. And we literally knew nothing about LA. Like, we knew only what we saw on the hills. And like, that was literally our handbook.
That's all you need, though. I feel like you're ready to go. If you see the hills,
Who's the hills? Who's in that one?
Oh my gosh, bless. It was.
Well, I'm sure I've seen it, but which crowd is it? Is that Lauren?
This is like Lauren Conrad and like Lauren, Heidi, Adrina, and
the
like,
one that has who's the one that was married to Jay Cutler? Is that
Kristen?
one?
Oh yeah, Kristen.
I like her. Big fan of her.
Yeah, she came on a little later. She was kind of when things were dying a bit with the hills. But yeah, I mean, we really knew so little about LA. So what we did was, and I was telling you as I was coming here, I was like, oh my gosh, this is my old stomping ground, because the apartment from the hills where the girls live the first season, that's where we lived. So we just kind of replicated that life. But we, in terms of the matchmaking company, we hit the ground running and we were just like, yes, we are matchmakers. And we already had success stories from all of our friends that we set up through high school and college. So when we came to LA as these kind of small town girls with huge egos, we just were like, okay, we know what we're doing. And we basically started with one client and we got our first office in Beverly Hills, and everything snowballed from there so organically. And now we have a team of 7 matchmakers, and we have our offices Beverly Hills, a little closer to Rodeo, which is so much fun.
Nice.
And yeah, we've been around for 10 years now, which is wild, and babies and marriages and just, yeah, all the things.
I will say, okay, so that's amazing, first of all.
Yeah.
I did look at the website. Is it only female matchmakers?
So we have 7 matchmakers in total, 6 females, 1 male, 1 young man.
Okay, what's the
Yes. difference
difference there? What do you think do you think females are better matchmakers, or are they just more interested? Like, how does that?
I mean, I think that women generally, and I'm so sorry, I do not mean to offend,
No,
like
you say what you want. You
the
offend.
male. Yeah.
Offend us.
But I think that there's something about like a woman's intuitive energy and just, and also, I mean, the ladies that we have on our team they've been matchmakers for years. I mean, they came to us from other companies, so we have the best of the best. Like, we're very lucky in that we hired in that way. So I mean, men can be matchmakers, but generally my sense is that, oh gosh, I sound so like sexist.
No, not at all.
Yeah, but I think that there is something about a woman's intuition and I feel like people are a bit more what's the word? Like at ease,
right.
when they're meeting a woman. And if I'm like, oh, as opposed to like if there was like a guy that was like this alpha male that's like, I'm gonna matchmake you, like, what do you want? And then it's like, oh, I don't really know. And so I think with women, it tends to put people more at ease. But I will say that Anthony's an amazing matchmaker, and I have met really great men who are also matchmakers, but yeah. It tends to be like
there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I was just curious because I saw.
How do you find a good, like, if someone comes to you and they're like, I want to be a matchmaker for your company, how do you see if they're a good matchmaker? Like, what goes into that?
We went through, like, I think of myself as, obviously I'm a matchmaker and I've been doing it forever, but also I have learned so much about business, just being in this industry, and also just owning my own company for the past 10 years. And we have found initially, we thought it was like we thought hiring would be so easy. We're like, oh my gosh, just hire like the fun social butterfly, like party girls who are really sweet and bubbly, and they'll go out and they'll recruit and they'll scout. But it's so much more than that. So as we've grown and as we've learned, we had a period there where we were hiring these young girls, but they were horrible matchmakers. Like, they were terrible. They were the bottom of the barrel. But you have to learn that as when you have a matchmaking company, that, okay, you can't just hire a pretty girl. You have to hire, a matchmaker, like somebody that has a track record, experience. I mean, all of the matchmakers, with the exception of two, they had their own matchmaking firms, or they worked for another matchmaking firm for a number of years.
Yeah.
So they already have that experience. And yeah, I mean, it's like one of them studied psychology, another one is an MFT. Like, another went to NYU and just has her own coaching practice. So it really does vary, but it's a lot harder than even I thought. I thought, oh, it's so easy. Like, because for me, it's so easy. Like, it's what I do. Like, whenever I meet anybody, I'm just immediately thinking, like, I can't help myself. I'm like like the database in my brain. I'm like, oh my God, Jessica, they would love each other. Oh, the energy. Blah, blah, blah. But I understand now that's not how all people think.
Yeah. And I think you said it perfectly. It's a business, right? So I think hiring in any business, it's just like, yeah, on paper, you're this pretty girl and you're outgoing, whatever, but can you actually work? Like, can you get the job done? And we always talk about that. Like, we have a few employees now, but it's like, you don't really know if they're good or not until they actually do it. And then you're like, shit, this really backfired.
So hard.
Yeah.
I had no idea how inept a majority of human beings are at working. Yeah. I had no. I sound like
no. It's your experience. It's real. It's not bullshit.
Vent so that we could vent.
No, it's so real. I had no idea. But it's real. It's real. But I think that I mean, we've been really good with our hiring. We only hit that really difficult point. I think it was like year 4 when we were really expanding. And then we really did have the option to either go the huge route, and we were going to do like matchmakers in the city, in every city, and like take over the world. And that was like, we were like, okay, great. Everyone's employees, and we'll have these young matchmakers, and they'll be going out and da 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 da. But then we're like, no, we have to keep it contained and boutique, because otherwise you sacrifice quality. And that's just something that we are not willing to do. So now, I mean, the clients that we work with, they're, our price point is not cheap, but at the same time, it's, we work with really incredible clients and amazing matchmakers, and they actually like have successes, which is the reason why we do this in the first place, know?
Yeah. And I think when you keep it boutique, right? Like, I think that's really important, because you want people to work for the company that believe in the company, right? And some people work for a paycheck, and then, you want those people who see the bigger picture and like believe in the boss, believe in the company, believe in what they're doing. And I think it puts in that extra oomph and that extra effort that those smaller teams really need,
So true. Yeah. It's so true. Yeah. And like the ladies, I mean, I'm like, oh my gosh, Liat, like one of our matchmakers, Liat, she's this fabulous. She like has a home in Beverly Hills with her husband and her kids, and like just is in like the Jewish community, Jewish matchmaking is like a big area for us, and she's fabulous. And then Karina, one of our other matchmakers, she was just in Saudi Arabia. Like I can't tell you who she was working with, but unreal. Like it's just they're good. Like they are so good. They're so good. And then my sister, I actually set her up with her husband.
Okay.
And they're obviously married, and she's welcoming now her second child.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I'm basically
So are you and your
little
sister
God
like
complex.
the VIP experience?
Well, I mean, so I mean, when a client comes in and works with matchmakers in the city, they work with a team of matchmakers. But then there are clients, like the celebrity clients tend to want to work with me, and then it's a different level, much higher price point because my sanity is worth a lot of money. But it's really good. Like I have my personal matchmaking success rate is like unbelievable. I mean, I want to say 100%, but
No.
I can't say that.
That's
but
impossible.
if somebody hires me personally and does
What is success? How do you define it? Is it
Like-
just getting married and staying together?
like getting them in a relationship. But I mean, most of the couples that I've matched, I can't say 100% because that's obviously not right. But
I think 50 is
also,
good.
I'll also keep them, like, even if they sign on for a year contract, like if a celebrity or if a public figure or just like even, I mean, we have business, men and women as well, but like I will find their person. You know what I mean? Like,
Do you put a celebrity with a celebrity?
it depends. It really does depend. Sometimes, but I find that in every relationship, there's a diamond and there's a setting. And the issue that tends to happen when you put two celebrities together or two people in the public eye, they're both competing diamonds. So I love somebody in the public eye and pairing them with, a startup founder that is, killing it at their career and just is more of that, setting and not necessarily the front facing diamond in the relationship, especially with female celebrities, because with female celebrities, they're, they need that stability. They need that rock behind them. So yeah, I mean, I love to do that. And, a male celebrity, it also depends, like, because there are so many different type of celebrities, if they're like on a reality show for a season, it's a little different than if they just literally won an Oscar, which we've worked with both ends of the spectrum. And, we've had success, but
But you
I
didn't
will
put
say,
Kim and Kanye together, right?
oh my gosh, bless.
Just to verify.
I know the rumor mill has been going wild, but we did not matchmake Kim and Kanye.
'Cause that would be bad for
can-
business.
That would be so. I can't even imagine. I can actually imagine Kanye hiring a matchmaker. I can.
I feel like Kanye needs someone who's like ready to be at his beck and call for everything and like support, like
So if Kanye
his whims, like on a whim.
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, I saw that interview you did and I think you said something like that. I was trying to recall what you said.
Oh my gosh! I was like, oh my gosh! Like, I feel like that's so what I believe
Okay.
as well. So
I just watched it like 15 minutes ago. So, but that's what you said, right? Was that he needs somebody that like, Kim was like her own entity really. And he needs someone who's like there to support everything he does and be at his beck and call, I think.
100%. And so many of these powerhouse males, they need that. They need that feminine energy that's going to support them and that's going to, exactly, they're not also front facing. That's why a lot of these couples don't work out because it's too much going on in one couple. And a lot of think about Matthew McConaughey. Like, who's his wife? Exactly.
Oh, is he married?
Yeah, Matthew
Oh,
McConaughey.
yeah.
Who's his wife?
So
You don't know.
Same thing with Hugh Jackman, right?
Yeah. Oh,
I never knew that Hugh Jackman was married, and then I saw that he was married for like 30 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, who is this woman?
yeah.
And what's his name? From Australia. Hemsworth. Yeah.
Oh, Chris Hemsworth. Oh my gosh, what a gem.
And his wife.
What a gem.
Super cool, beautiful woman. I don't even know what
she's an actress though.
Is
right?
she?
You know, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, she was in like the Fast and Furious movie.
Oh, was she?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh. But she's like more behind the scenes now,
I think so. Yeah, I don't really know. I think I don't know.
Yeah, I love, it's okay.
We get the point.
It works out really well that way. It really does. It really does. But also it has to be somebody, and something that we do run into, because you think like, oh my gosh, when you get a celebrity, it's so cool. Yes, it is. But then even, a man, say we get a female celebrity, and I do have a lot of experience working with like women that are they are phenomenal and they're just powerhouses and so well known. Like it's unreal. But it's really tough to, a lot of times almost it's a hard sell to the type of men that I know are better matches for them, because a lot of times those guys they don't want to be in the public eye. Like we had a male client who, he was, oh my gosh, he's a gem. I love him so much. Super successful at this point. Like he's not even old, but he's like retired and, had blah, 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 blah. So this basically a household name celebrity woman. And I wish I could kind of express who I'm talking about, but we sign really aggressive confidentiality agreements.
Of course.
I'm so sorry.
No, I love that.
And I kind of sound a little LA douchey. Apologies,
no.
but
it's just
okay.
it's just the reality of the situation.
It's the reality.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the reality. But so it's like this household name woman that just from a really well-known family as well. And we were like, okay, personality wise, like we got to know her. We know him so well. They're, lifestyle wise, all of the things, it's just so compatible. So we tried to matchmake them, and we did end up setting them up on a date, but he just was like, I do not want that lifestyle. Like I do not want to be in front of the cameras. I am a private person. So even though technically they should have been the perfect match, it's sad because it's, it was, he got scared away. So that's also why a lot of female celebrities hire a matchmaker. We tend to vet for that, but I just really wanted them to work.
So now for
really
context, these people so this woman, right?
Yeah.
You hook her up with somebody who's also in the database, right? It's not like outside people.
So for those two clients, it was a client to client match. So it means like they were both clients. So they were both like, we call them priority members. Okay. So client to client match, beautiful. We love that. We also have a database. So we have the bachelors and bachelorettes, like the basic bachelors, basic bachelorettes.
On the actual show.
The basic, no. Just this is like just our company. Like they're not actually like they're not on the show. But yeah, so we have like the basic bachelors, basic bachelorettes. That's our database. So these are members who have been interviewed, background checked, social media checked, sex offender searched, but they're just in our database. So they're not like priority, they're not clients. So they're not like getting a certain number of matches over the course of the year. Like they're who we're choosing from, one of the options that we're choosing from. But also we scout all the time. So we're always out and about, and like all the matchmakers, we're out and about like at actual events. Like my event calendar is insane. And partially because I'm such a social butterfly, but also it's my work. Like it's what I do. I have to be out. I have to be meeting men and women who are single, because it's a living database. Like people are just constantly there. It's not like, oh yeah, we've been around for 10 years. We have a database of thousands of singles. Yeah, we do. But a lot of those single men and women are in relationships because it's living. They're not just like, oh, I'm single for 10 years. Like, no.
Waiting to be chosen like a puppy
so
at the pound.
So say you have a female client, right?
Yeah.
Is there an opportunity where you'd be like, hey, Steve, one of my clients would be a perfect fit for you, and he's not even in your database at all? Is that possible?
Oh my gosh.
She's scouting. Yeah.
1,000%. Like, Steve, can I match you or not?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my gosh, Steve, I'm so excited.
A perfect match for a lot of people.
Yeah, no, honestly, you would be, oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Okay. My brain is now going crazy because it was, but then I was like, calm down.
So now, all right. So,
Yeah.
so what goes into this, right? So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
say you have X client, right?
Yeah.
How would you think that they would be a good fit for him?
So, okay. So since we are a boutique firm, we work with around 100 priority members, like 100 clients, like every year. So that's about the cap that we like to keep. And as a team of 7, we're small enough, and it's a small enough amount of members and like clients that I know basically everyone that we're working with, even if I'm not like interacting with them all the time. So if I meet a wonderful young man who could be a great potential match for one of the clients, like I know our client list and I know what we're looking for. So I would be like, oh my gosh, I feel like we have to get you in for an interview. But it's a 30-minute interview and you would be considered a matchmaker's pick because I met you and I'm scouting you.
Okay.
However, if you were to come in on your own volition, so say you were like listening to this podcast and you're like, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. I want to be a potential match. You then pay to be a part of the database and it's $100. If you're scouted, like if you're one of the select few that's scouted by a matchmaker, like what's happening now, like then it's obviously I'm not going to be like, oh, we have to now pay us $10,000 or pay $100. Like we don't do that.
Right.
But if you are coming in on your own volition, like it's different. Then you sign up and like we interview you. Every single member that's even just a part of the database has to meet with a matchmaker before we accept them, even in our database.
I love that. So that's what I mean. So he would have a 30-minute interview.
Yeah, with
and you'd
one of
ask
the
him, like, what he likes, his
matchmakers.
personality, and all that stuff. Cool.
Yeah. So we have a full interview. It's really like over the past 10 years, they're just very specific questions that seem not even that
Can you
like
share
seem
some of
inane.
those?
But yeah, I mean, not even seem inane, but they're basically everything from have you ever cheated in a relationship before to, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? Do you want to get married? Do you want to have kids? What's religion? How do you practice your religion? We ask everything.
What's the most important in your opinion? Like the top 2.
Yeah.
Where you could see like, okay, these people are aligned on these 2 questions. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, so the 3 deal breakers that we always say, like, it doesn't matter if you are like the best personality match for somebody. If you don't have the 3 deal breakers, it's a total no-go. So the 3 deal breakers, do you want to get married? Do you want to have kids? And is religion compatible? If you don't have those elements aligned, there's no need for a match.
Okay.
And then beyond that, I mean, the whole thing is like you're working with a human matchmaker. So that's where that's where the, just like the magic happens. Like when you're interviewing with a human, with one of the ladies or Anthony, but like one of the matchmakers, that's where we're discerning. Like we know you, I'm learning about you. I'm learning your personality and your body
energy,
language.
the vibe. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He's a good catch.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joe. He's a great friend, wingman as well.
I could validate.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's so good. Vouching, so important.
You need a voucher for somebody.
You really do. I agree. We have to like add that onto our thing.
Yeah.
We should add that to our app too.
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
A voucher.
Like approved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I have
You're
a couple
feeling yourself
couple
right
questions.
now, right? Like we're just talking you up a little bit.
No, I think these are bigger ideas than me, but I got a couple questions. Okay.
Yes.
2 Staten Island guys.
Yes.
All right. Pete Davidson. Right.
Yeah.
What type of woman do you think he needs? And I forget the second part of the question. Oh, what are the qualities? Because I've talked to people and seen things. What qualities do you think he possesses that make him attractive? Because I love Pete, so I'll put that on the record.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
seems like you don't, but that's fine.
I was gonna say. So that's a very interesting
listen
side there.
I love Pete too. I think Pete is like good guy. Okay, good guy. I think Pete needs to take a beat. I think Pete needs to. Honestly, I think he needs to do a date cleanse. I think he should stop dating for a year. And just because his pattern is he dives in 150% to every single relationship that he's in. And like, it's full throttle. Like,
But do you think he actually wants to be with these people, or do you think he's just kind of having fun?
I think Pete really loves love.
Really?
I think
I
Pete
think so too.
loves women. He loves feminine energy in his life, which is beautiful. And I respect that. But I also think that there's a point where it gets to be a little bit excessive.
Do you think the track record makes it better or worse? Like if you were a woman and you saw, okay, this is his track record. Is
Yeah.
it like, oh wow, he gets the top women, or he's just
I think
throwing himself around a lot?
I think it's a big red flag. Like
Really?
if a
Okay.
guy just jumps from one serious relationship to the next, he's a serial monogamist, which is fine. And I'm not like, listen, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. Like if that's live your life, but it's just, it seems the pattern is a little too much to not comment on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think he has to date himself and just like get to know himself. And as much as like PDA is beautiful and like being open, I love that. Yes, Pete, yes. But like, you've done it. He's done that for the past, like, it's been just constant with a new woman every couple months.
Do you think Ariana Grande like broke his heart so bad that he's trying to fill that void and he just like won't let it set?
I mean,
Because when he broke up with Ariana Grande, I feel like he was so upset.
yeah.
And now I feel like you said, he goes into these relationships, but he doesn't seem upset when they end.
Yeah, it's almost like I think that was probably one of his first big heartbreaks. But I don't know. I feel like he bounced back.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
I mean, he's got the
It's-
best track record.
Yeah.
It's also maybe Derek Jeter at his first, but
Yeah.
it's also tricky when you're a celebrity because sometimes you never know if the relationships are manufactured in a sense or like why someone's interested in him or you know what I mean. So I think that's definitely something you may know about that we don't know about from behind the scenes, but
Yeah.
I think it's something to consider, of course.
Definitely something to consider. And it's funny because even outside of even my matchmaking, because, if a celebrity comes to us, it's not because they like, if they are manufacturing something, they're not going to hire a matchmaker because it's so
does that
easy.
mean?
Well, if you say they're doing a movie together, they're not going to just, if they're doing a movie together and the agent's like, or the studio's like, oh, this would be really great for you guys to date because the movie sales will be high, which I think Pete is like with a girl that he's doing a movie with right now. Is that true or something along those lines?
I don't know her name off the top of my head, but I think that's right.
Yeah.
Or at least according to Instagram. So who knows?
Yeah. So like something's up there, but yeah, so I haven't experienced that as a matchmaker. Like if an agent or usually it's the assistant that reaches out, like usually the assistant like does the research and then is like, hey, my boss is X and, she's been having a really tough time dating. She's really upset about her last breakup. And then it's like, okay, great. Like absolutely. Let's meet with her and let's see if it's a good fit, because sometimes you'll meet somebody and it's not a good fit or they're really, really, they have a bad reputation in the media, which is also really difficult because if somebody has a really, really bad reputation, like already it's difficult to set up somebody who is well known, but then add on, like a few years ago at this point, we were working with this like huge music guy, like huge music like manager. Oh my God, he was so cool. I loved him so much. He was so awesome. And like I went to like his like whatever, his compound and I got to see, he was like, oh yeah. And like right there, that's where, this huge band recorded their bang. And then he's like, oh, and this is the secret door that leads to blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. So, but anyway, we wanted to set him up with this other young woman who actually was back when The Bachelor was like a big deal, which I guess it still is. Like The Bachelor still is a big deal, but it was like a really big deal back then. And it was a Bachelor contestant that like went really, 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 really far. And she was amazing. Like to know her, we knew her well. Like I got to know her so well. And I was like, oh, this is the perfect match for him. But he like Googled her and he was like, absolutely not. Like, I cannot meet this woman. I won't do it. So anyway, sorry, tangent.
Yeah.
But the other tangent that we were initially on was if you're manufacturing something, you're not going to hire a matchmaker. So like one of my girlfriends actually was in a situation where she was dating somebody like pretty well known, but he had to fake another relationship and do like press shots on the beach with a woman that he was doing the TV show with because they were they were trying to get so anyway.
So she would have to be like really secure with that if she wanted to be with him.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
I feel like Britney Spears would be like that right now. Like,
she's married, right? I think she's married.
Britney's married.
But I think aren't
Sam Asghari.
aren't they on the rocks now?
No. Sam? Oh my God.
Don't tell me that, Joe.
Don't tell
Well, I
me,
mean,
Joe.
my heart.
Stop.
I'm not tapped into all that. I don't really pay attention to it much. But wasn't there like 5 incidents lately where she's been going a little haywire?
I mean,
And he's getting like a little annoyed.
I don't know. I think I think Sam's a good guy. I think
He seems great.
He seems like
She seems overwhelmed with.
I think that's a good word.
Not her fault though.
I think
not.
she's
It's everyone else in her
overwhelmed.
life. Yeah, I don't think it's her
No,
fault.
imagine she was on this wild medication that like lithium, I think. Like it fries your brain. Was it lithium?
I don't know.
Am I making things up?
I don't know. Is
All
that a
right.
medication?
I don't know.
I think it's a battery.
Okay,
They
well,
put her
she
in
was,
batteries.
Yeah, they put her in a
She might
battery.
be on batteries.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Poor thing.
I like Britney. She has
I
good music.
know,
All right,
Britney.
I have an important question here.
Okay,
I'm going to
yes.
read it from my phone because
Oh,
I want to
yes.
get the quote right.
Of course.
So I think this conversation's been amazing, but I want to bring it a little more back to our audience. So
Yes.
like for general dating tips. But first I want to start here. This is on the homepage of your website.
Yes.
I quote, delete your dating apps. We'll find you something real.
Yeah.
Now, on the one hand, I can say, we're a dating app, so we hate that.
Yeah.
But
But you guys are different.
but when you read the
different.
rest of the quote, we're
Yeah.
trying to make it real, right? We're trying to get people to meet in person, and trying to, fix some of the problems and solve the problems that a lot of the other apps, people have frustrations with those things. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about your battle with dating apps and why you hate them?
Okay.
And why you want them all to fail?
No, I don't. Okay. I will tell you guys also
Again, you could.
that
Hey,
that
gloves
quote,
are off. It's good.
Open to criticism.
that quote was before Frome was incepted.
Okay.
So we've had that on there for a while.
Okay.
Okay, boys. So don't worry.
And I could vouch for you as well. We were supposed to partner on an event because you liked our app because it was so different. So
Yeah.
I can vouch for
Yeah,
both of you.
the app
Okay.
is phenomenal. And yeah, you guys are killing it. Like this, I absolutely love the concept. I love what you guys are doing. And you are revolutionizing like the dating app world, which is beautiful. Like amen. Like yes. So love your guys' app. But I think that, I think that the problem, there's so many issues with traditional dating apps. I don't think that they're the devil. So I really
You
don't.
can preach now.
Yeah.
Like, preach.
I don't think that they're the devil, but I think that it really does mess with, and studies have shown that it's the paradox of choice. And I think that when there are just seemingly endless options, it really does fog the brain and it makes any decisions, it's decision paralysis. So this is, scientifically proven. And then even when you make a choice, you're less happy because of all the other choices. So it's the paradox of choice. So A, that, but B, also, when you break it down and the people that come in to work with us, they're like, it seems like there are a lot of options, but there really aren't, because out of all of that swiping, maybe you'll match, with guys, they swipe right on everybody.
Yeah. So men are 0.6% hit rate, right? So that means for every 1,000 swipes, they get matched 6 times, and women are 10%.
Yeah.
So
Like women, and honestly, most of the women that we are working with or that hire us, they basically, they get all their matches. You know what I mean? Like they're incredible. They're really, I'm not just saying that. They're beautiful, they're smart, they're so successful. So when they're matching. But then the feedback that I hear from men is that, yeah, exactly. They're swiping right on everybody and they're only matching with like 3 or whatever. They're matching with a much lower rate unless they're models,
Well, I was going to say there's also stats where it's like the top 2% or top 5% of guys get 99%
I think it's
of
10, but the top 10% of men get all the women.
Yes.
dates.
So, so unless we're dealing with anyone in this room, obviously, like anyone in this room aside, but, the guys then just get so much fewer matches and then they reach out and then the women like maybe reply or maybe don't reply or maybe on Bumble they'll send an emoji or it's so bland. So then to even get a date, like to even actually meet up for a date, the statistics are so low.
Right.
So even when you have all these guys, when you have these men that they'll follow them on Instagram, but they're never actually meeting them. Like I met one of our bachelors and he was like, yeah, I'm on the dating apps. I haven't been on a date in like maybe a year, but I'm like, and I went through his Instagram. I'm like, well, who are all these women? He's like, oh, I'm following them. They're just girls that I saw on the dating apps. They're single.
Yeah.
And like, but I haven't been on a date in a year. So, and then the time that it takes to talk. And then for the women they're bombarded. They get annoyed. They have to say the same thing over and over again. And they're not even being fun and flirtatious because it's just not fun for them. Like when you're talking to so many people. So anyway,
It's exhausting. It can be exhausting.
It's exhausting. And you can, listen, if somebody loves dating and if somebody wants to go on a date every night of the week and has the time to do that and the calories, like to do that, because the thing is also—
That's how some of them get the calories.
Yes.
By going on the dates.
Yeah, it's true. But, if you have that, then great. Like be on a dating app. That's wonderful. Aside from because you get on his side. But like, if you want something different and you really want, like with us, it's all about like fewer matches and like it's all about just that human element and like that friend setting the friend up with a friend.
Yeah, and I think that we're trying to be the middle person between what you do, right?
Yeah.
Which is a very amazing curated thing that costs a good amount of money because like you guys work very hard versus like a Tinder where it's just like we're talking about endless swiping, endless matching, all these conversations. For us, it's like, all right, bridging that gap of, okay, we're going to let you browse through the app, but when you do see someone that you like, go out with them and you can only have one match per day. And like, you're putting all your attention on one person. So I think we're trying to like be that middle person for that demographic.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And you guys have had so many successes in it too.
Yeah, so we're ramping up. I mean, startup world, as you know, I'm sure 10 years ago was like, baby steps are big achievements.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we have people going on dates now. I think our user base is over 18,000. So it's like
that's amazing.
Yeah, we're getting to the next level, and I think now we're just trying to get as much feedback as we can to pivot the app to where people are like, okay, if you do this, this will help. To where everyone's like, okay, this is like the perfect little thing.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I found out about you guys through Cassidy, who had, I don't know how we got connected. I don't know, somehow we got connected and she invited me to one of the parties that you guys were sponsoring. So I then in turn met like a ton of your members because you guys were sponsoring it and everybody that went to the party had to download the app. I'm so sorry I didn't because I was not available for that purpose in life. But oh my goodness. So I saw like your users, like, you know what I mean? Like I saw the people that are now members of Frome and they're cool. Like it's a good group.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Cassidy and I then did we filmed something. I think we told you. We're not allowed to say what it is, but oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Ooh. It's not out yet?
It's not out. We signed confidentiality agreements, but I want to talk about it so badly because it was so much fun.
You told me about it. Yeah.
It was really fun. It's for a new season of a big show.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll stay tuned.
We'll stay tuned.
Okay.
Yeah. It was so much fun to do.
That's
but
amazing.
yeah, it all like connects. It's all just
So I have another question. So
Yeah.
tying in what you do and how our app works.
Yeah.
So with our app, we give people the tools to pick a drink time and place, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the big pain points for apps is a guy usually doesn't know where to go and like it halts the date, right? Big turn off. So with you guys, do you facilitate where they're going on that first date?
Yeah. Yes. We plan everything. So
Okay.
yeah, and we usually do like small plates and drinks. It's usually dinner, and like post COVID, it's dinner. You know, it's a lovely dinner date. But we do have some clients that like to do active dates. So like we have one client that loves to do like an ice skating date or like a pottery making date. But you'd be surprised, a lot of women are not open to that.
Like on a first date.
Yeah.
Or, okay.
They're like, they'll make up something. They'll be like, oh my gosh, I just broke my elbow. And I don't know if it's made up, but it's happened a couple times at this point. So anyway, but yeah, we do like, it's a concierge date planning. But yeah, I think that it's so interesting how like men, like it's not that difficult. Like just Google date location near me, or like drinks near me, or wine bar near me. You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or near her.
Yeah,
right? I'm more of that. You
Look
know?
at
Yeah,
that.
you know?
Look at this gentleman
I'm telling you.
over here.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And like Joe said, that's one of the biggest complaints is
Yeah.
guys don't know how to set up a date. So we, like Joe said, we're trying to fix all of these issues and make them as, you know, as user friendly as possible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you two questions, but the first one is, you said, you know, women don't really like doing activities, right? They make up excuses. How do you feel about a casual drink as the first date? You know, in our opinion, it's like, as a guy, you know, making the app, it's like, if you do commit to a dinner, you know, every night of the week, it's very expensive. And you're kind of trapped if you don't like that person. So it's a little different for us because you're really vetting these people, right? But for us, it's like, okay, you go get this drink. And if it goes great, you could turn that into anything. Another drink, a dinner, go somewhere else. Pottery, ice skating.
Look at this.
But you're not trapped, right?
Yeah.
So like there's a quick out. So how do you feel being a woman, and like what do you think about that?
Well, I think that it depends. I think that if you're meeting through a matchmaker, like of course, go for a full dinner, enjoy the experience.
Right.
This person has been like, this is such a special, like this person has been specially like selected for you, and it's a really considered match. But if you're using a run-of-the-mill dating app, I think that it depends on what your previous conversation had been, or it depends, like, if you guys did a phone call and the vibe was just really good, or if you even, like, I know some guys are like, yeah, I want to do a FaceTime because they've just been catfished so many times, and not even like big catfishing, but like micro catfishing, but it actually then becomes macro. You know what I mean? Like,
So catfishing, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I think every app tries to fix, especially us, right?
yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, I feel like if you actually catfish someone on our app, you'd be like really embarrassed, because I feel like on other apps, if you catfish, people find out that it's not the real you through text or eventually like through a phone conversation.
Yeah.
But if I was catfishing you and then I actually showed up on the date as somebody else, I feel like it's a little more unlikely because it's very embarrassing.
Yeah. No, I
You know?
completely agree.
But
yeah.
that's just my
No, that's
opinion.
Exactly. I completely agree with you. So I think the likelihood of catfishing goes way down when you're, I think maybe I'm talking a bit more of like a micro catfish situation. So maybe somebody that is like really good at like Facetune, or you know what I mean? Because
or height.
or like, I mean, I even experienced this as a matchmaker. We get a lot of submissions, like a lot of applications when we're scouting and just through generally. And I'll be so excited to meet with a woman, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, like I think she's a great match for one of the bachelors. We're like, oh my gosh, I saw her photos. She looks amazing. Da-da-da. Then I'll get on the Zoom and I'll be like, and not that they're not attractive. Like she's a beautiful girl, but I'm like, this is a
Different. Very
this
different.
is so different. Like
Yeah.
I've even had a girl that popped on and I'm like, I saw her photo, she was a totally different ethnicity than what I saw in the photos. So I think that it's just with filters. Listen, I am not like perfect. I've definitely like used Facetune to like cinch my waist. Okay, like I'm sorry, I'm human.
So is Facetune different than Face App?
Yeah. Like I think we've all dabbled. Okay.
Oh, for sure.
But I think that like if you're doing that and on a dating app or like to a matchmaker, that's where the line is kind of like, what is going on?
I think even not on a dating app, just life in general.
Yeah.
If you do that and then you meet somebody, even as a friend, it's just, again, not embarrassing, but it's like,
it's awkward.
Why? Like,
it also like breaks trust right away.
Yeah.
And for me anyway, it would be like,
oh no, do I look like my photos? Oh gosh, I hope
no,
I do.
you look great. And it's funny because like,
who is this?
I'm curious too.
You were blonde in your photos.
I'm curious too why.
I'm dead. I've passed away.
No, I texted Joe. I was like, all right, she checks out. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Like, who is this? The other girl comes in. No, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry.
No, I was just saying, I'm curious why, like for me personally, and maybe I could speak for most men, but like I am naturally attracted to like a woman's natural look, like so much, right? And of course, like, you know, as you get a little older, you want to do a little tweaks here and there. That's great because I'm sure men do some things too.
Yeah.
But I think we're in like this age that we see people, men and women, but like morphing themselves. And like for me personally, like you could have like the perfect body, that perfect face, and it's just not attractive to me. I'm just like, I'm attracted to like the natural look of a woman. You know?
100%.
Yeah.
Like exactly. I think that it's really overused. It's really, really, really egregiously used in so many situations, especially on dating apps. So, and even when submitting to matchmakers. So like, I think, there's like, use a light touch if you're doing anything, just use a light touch. But yeah, it's a wild world, you guys, that we live in. It is a wild world.
Indeed.
It is a wild, wild world.
All right, so wait, should we do this? So we always ask our guests what their drink of choice is. Obviously, first round's on us. Yeah. So you said champagne, rosé, or prosecco.
Yes.
And we've done the rosé a couple of times now. So I was like, let's go with this is prosecco, right?
Prosecco, yes.
Prosecco.
La Marca.
So La Marca prosecco. Yeah. Why is prosecco one of your drinks of choice?
Well, as a calorie conscious queen.
Hey, Steve's right there with you.
I love prosecco because it's the lowest caloric drink.
Okay.
And it's also actually a little bit lower than champagne.
What are you, the shot guy over there?
Oh my gosh, I die. And so it's low calorically and it's a little bit less sugary than champagne. Okay. So you get, like, if you drink a little too much of it in the morning, you're not quite as aggressed physically by the effect.
Okay.
So the hangover is a lot less intense.
I wish I would have known this last night because I had 3 glasses of red wine.
No way.
And I was definitely like a little, not hurting, but I was a little not well this
And I always think about Tom Cruise in Cocktail when he says champagne. He says perfume going in, sewage coming out.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and he's he's a genius. So in that movie, he's a real pro.
So once you pop that open, we could cheers. Do you need some help?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I got it. We're good. It's not a. There we go.
It's twist off.
Absolutely. Ooh. Okay, good.
Steve will cheers, but he's our designated speaker.
Oh,
yes.
Beautiful. Cheers.
It's actually, is it bad luck if I don't drink? I think it might be bad luck.
Okay,
so
sorry.
I'll just watch you guys. Cheers.
Cheers. It's good.
Why not joining? All right.
Oh yeah, cheers.
Really good.
Cheers.
Bad luck. It's bad luck. You want bad luck?
All right, we'll knock on wood now because we don't want to do that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was talking to a friend yesterday actually, and she sent me a screenshot of some guy on a dating app. I think it was Hinge, and he goes, like, they were talking about going out, and he's like, all right, here's 3 options. I think he thought he was being like really slick, but the options were like, it was like a picnic, a sunset walk, and a hike. It was like 9 things on, and this is a first date. Then the second one was like dinner, a movie, ice cream, and ice skate. Like it was, and she was like, "This is just too much. Like I can't."
Yeah.
So I think you're right in that, and real life experience shows like a lot of, not just women, but a lot of people just like get the first date, like just meet the person, feel it out, get their energy, feel how you guys vibe together, and then go from there. But don't try to throw it all into a first date.
Yeah, I think like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 of dates is aggressive for a first date. I also, though, do know a lot of women who are like, I would never accept a drinks date. Like if a guy was like, oh, I only
Why?
want to meet for drinks. Not to, no. If they were on From, I'm sure they would accept a drinks date. But I because they're like, if I am using a night of my week, and if I like, of course we're going to have dinner. Like, of course we would have dinner. But that also means that they've already established a bit more of a connection. So I think if
Talked
you're
for a
just,
while, or-
I think if they're just texting and it's like, oh yeah, like let's grab a drink. And then, you know, and then with the intention of having dinner, I think that's nice, you know, but
Sure.
yeah, but I do come across a lot of women who, because I have heard a lot of times, I'm in like all of these, like, because I'm in a lot of female groups because of I'm a female, and also like, it's me, I'm a woman. I'm a woman.
I thought you were Anthony.
Hi, it's Anthony. Yeah, so I'm in these groups for multiple reasons, but also I'm a matchmaker. So whenever like we get in a new male client, I'll put up, or not whenever, but I'll put up like a little like, hey ladies, like we're working with this bachelor right now. He's XYZ. Is anyone open to, you know, anyone single open to meeting him? And then I'll get like a ton of submissions of these like fabulous women. But I'm in this one group and it's the level up group. So it's all about like women who are trying to level up in their dating lives. The problem is it can be a little like sugar daddy vibes sometimes, like just from
So what does
the
level up
posts.
mean exactly?
So it's like, it's all about like leveling up in their life, in their, you know, in just all areas of their life, but specifically within dating. And one of like the tenets of like the level up community is that like you don't accept a drink state. Like it has to be dinner.
Okay.
So maybe you guys could have like a little thing on the app that's like
Yeah, but on our app,
from plus.
maybe, yeah.
For, like-
we'd have to give them more time to talk because that's one of the things, right? Like
Yeah.
on our app, you only get really like 6 or 12 hours to talk. So it's
That's
kind of
good.
more of that spontaneous old school.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you're talking to somebody for like days and weeks
Yeah.
and you have that rapport, I think then you go for the dinner date.
Yeah.
But yeah, ours is like
Yeah.
quick, like seeing someone in a bar. Like,
Yeah.
let's go have a drink.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but yeah, we could do the From Plus.
I would love like from meal. Like, you know what I mean? For
We're
like
adding
the
snack.
more, yeah, like the more, the bougier girls,
Okay.
you know, like
Yeah.
from food, from plus meal or
From
something.
Dubai.
From Dubai.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. From Dubai.
So there's one other thing I want to talk to you about, right?
Yeah.
So we're trying to make the community as safe as possible, right? Like, especially when you're going on in real dates, right?
Yeah.
So we have some safety measures on the app, but I have you here and I want to get your perspective and feedback.
Yeah.
Right? So like keeping the community safe, we have these 7 things in place right now. And I want to hear your thoughts on going on a spontaneous date from somebody on a dating app, right?
Okay.
So first we have the TFA, right? The 2-factor authentication, right? So you sign up through your phone, your Gmail or Apple, right? So off the bat, we at least know you're a real person, right? So it's kind of baseline, but that's step number 1. 2 is we give people the option to add your last name, right? So if you have some,
I was just counting for you.
so if you have someone's last name, you could at least do a quick Google search, makes you feel a little safer. You could see anything, you know, it's a red flag. 3 is if their Instagram handle is tied to the app, you could at least go to their Instagram, check for catfishing, and be like, okay, they are who they say they are. This is their lifestyle. I feel a little more safer.
Yeah.
The app knows where you're going on a date, right? So other apps,
That's really good.
you're off the platform when you're going on a date. So like you're kind of at the mercy of your own self. Our app knows where you are. So you kind of could pick a place where you feel safe, and that's where your date location is going to be. You receive an alert 1 hour into the date asking how your date's going.
Oh,
And
that's so
yeah.
nice.
So if it's
like,
going
how's
great,
it going?
if your date's going great,
Yeah.
we're like, that's amazing. And if you're like, you know what, I need the bullpen, I need a saver.
Yeah.
You click a button and then it links to an emergency contact who will text you and be like, hey, we had plans tonight. Are you okay?
Wait, I love that.
So that's 5.
That's beautiful.
6 is obviously you could chat with your date 6 hours before the date. 12 if you pay, and you could feel each other out and just make sure that you feel comfortable with this person. And then 7 is a verified badge, right? So if you pay, you're verified through the app, and then at least that we've done our due diligence to make sure that this person is safe.
Yeah.
So those are the 7 we have in place now.
I love that.
So yeah,
and I'll even add in a 4B because you kind of alluded to this, but for people that don't know how it works, like let's say I ask out a woman, right, and I say this place Friday night at 7, right, and she's like, I'm interested, but I want to go somewhere I feel more safe. So the person can accept a date, reject a date, or suggest a new date. So she could always come back and say, hey, I'm down Friday at 7, but let's meet here. So that way she could feel more comfortable at, her like home turf or whatever. So that's just a little bit of an extra.
Yeah. So, and
I love this.
be honest with us. Cause we want honesty and we want to make it better, but how do you feel with those measures in place? Like, is it okay to meet somebody you don't really know for a drink date the way we have it set up?
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's really beautiful. Yeah, I think that's doing a lot more than any other app that I've ever seen.
And to be fair, our app,
Yeah.
we are pushing people to go in real life where other apps aren't. So we should be a little more.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they make their money off of people being single, whereas, you guys are getting people out there, which I think is beautiful. No, I mean, that sounds really awesome. Like you guys obviously have taken a lot of, you guys know the dating world and what, it's very real. It's very much like, okay, like if you're in the middle of the date and then you have the emergency contact, I think that's beautiful. The one thing I would say, is there any way you could add like an internal, like, I don't know, like sex offender check or something like that? Like, or just like an internal something where it's like, we did an internal, it doesn't have to be a full background check because I know they're expensive. And then you have like legalities, like if, God forbid, whatever. But yeah, that would be the one thing, like, okay, they're not a sex offender. Like they're like child approved, they're safe or something like that. Like,
so Steve and I were on a call last week with this company to implement that specific thing. Yeah.
Sex offender. That's amazing.
So we would add
they could
that.
do full, they could do anything from
good.
one category of background check to I think 700. I don't even know if there's that many that
so
exist.
it's not in the app yet.
I love
but
that.
It's going to be part of the verified, right? So you pay, you make sure that, like, if I was on the app, I would want to be checked personally so other people could see that I was checked,
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Like, because that way then you don't have to share your last name and like you can just know internally that you guys have done due diligence because I mean, I think that would amen.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
That's our last icing on the cake, I think.
You guys, I'm so proud that, Frome is here and Frome is just like changing the dating game. Changing the dating app game.
We're trying. Yeah, we're all matchmakers, in a sense.
It's true. It's absolutely true. Oh my God. And here in the beginning, I'm like, men can be matchmakers. It's a beautiful thing when it does happen. But you guys do it in a different way.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right? Like, whereas with girls, we're like, oh my God, tell me everything. You guys are like, all right, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, are you verified? And we're like, tell us about your past, So it's cute. I like that.
I want to ask you too, what do you think are the most important qualities for like a long-term, happy, successful, healthy relationship? Like once you get the people together and they hit it off, how do they stay together?
I think the desire for a relationship, like, and I know that sounds so basic, but I think that if two people are committed to, like, I mean, we've been around for 10 years. We only have one divorce over 10 years.
Damn.
And how many marriages?
So many. I mean, so many marriages, babies, like all of this. It's really, really nice. But I found that, I mean, just that desire for like for that relationship and like the willingness to do the work that's leaps and bounds above because you can't, like, if there's a man who's like, oh, I don't want to be in a relationship, blah, 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 blah.
Or a woman.
Yeah, or a woman who's like, I don't want to be in a relationship. I don't want to be in a relationship. Blah, 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 blah. Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how incredible you are and how it just doesn't matter. It's not going to work. You need like two people to have that, it's some days it's going to be, 80% on the guy's part. Other days it's going to be 70% on the girl's part. But Yeah, it's all about them really wanting it. So
Yeah.
the couples that I've seen that have lasted and that have really thrived and become like power couples, it's those people who initially, when we were interviewing them, they're like, I want this. Like, I want this so badly. Like, I really want this. Also, I think like appreciation, it just goes so far. You know, I think like appreciation, especially with men and with women, but just learning how your partner, it's like love language, learning your partner's love language, but it's also learning your partner's like appreciation language, right? Yeah. Because if you're taken for granted, you're going to be like, okay, well, you're taking me for granted. So it's like learning that appreciation language of how does my partner feel appreciated? How can I consistently show them that I see them, I value them, and I'm so grateful for them. And yeah, I think that dynamic is really beautiful that's what I've seen work.
I've learned all that over the past 2 years.
Right.
Just that you want to work at things with this person. It's not easy. When it's hard, do you want to figure it out?
Yeah.
And if you do, that's great. And like you said, right? Appreciating them, showing them that you love them and care about them. It's
totally.
It's amazing. Because
I think the first thing that goes when appreciation isn't there even in when we see in dates and in like first dates that we get feedback from, it's like, well, if we get negative feedback, a lot of times we're like, okay, well, what was wrong? What was it was that the person thought the other person like wasn't into them at all and like wasn't interested and wasn't like, you know what I mean? They'll because if they sense that, they shut down.
I always say the first green flag is if somebody asks you a lot of questions and is interested in you, right?
Yeah.
That's like the first green flag. If someone's just talking about themselves the whole time, I mean, they could be nervous, but it's just like a huge red flag because just make the other person feel a little valued.
Yeah. And like throw those compliments, flirting, I think can change the world. I always say
it's beautiful.
It
Steve's
really
a big flirter.
is.
That is beautiful.
Steve, you just got to keep flirting. Just keep flirting. It'll change everything.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to say from both of us that we appreciate you. I appreciate you being here.
Oh my God, thank you so
And
much.
I want to say something before you continue these
Yeah.
beautiful words. You have the best dual eye contact out of any guest we've had. Usually I'm really big on eye contact, and usually like they'll do more to me or more to him, and I'm like, you should always do 50-50. You've, I think, nailed 50-50. So like you're the first. So I want to say it's very impressive.
Thank
just
you
in like
so
the
much.
business world to like give both people the equal amount of attention. That was really impressive.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
I don't know why I noticed that,
Yeah.
but I
In
just
terms
do.
of going off that, in terms of body language, what does it mean when you cross your leg towards somebody versus not?
It depends.
Well, what does this mean?
It does depend. This means I'm trying to look as slim as possible for the camera angle. So that's what that means. So yeah, but that's the thing with women, because it's like with body language, if somebody is like trying to appear thin, like their body language is going to be different than if they're like on a date. If they're on a date, they're leaning in, their leg is crossed to you, all this, like they're touching, 3-second touch, like they're giving eye contact, they're giving. But the touch, though, the physical touch thing, I think is probably the biggest indicator of interest. And IOI from my pickup artist days. Oh,
What's IOI?
indicator of interest.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a phase where we were hiring a pickup artist just to help the guys.
Which one?
Well, we interviewed a lot of. I actually had interviewed Mystery. Like, I don't know if you know
Ooh,
Mystery.
I know Mystery. I was. Yeah,
Is that your friend?
I train Owen Cook sometimes.
Oh my gosh, I died.
Yeah.
Mystery is like the OG.
Part of the same.
Yeah.
Crew.
Owen learned from Mystery. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, but he's like they're all like this like dark
It's a
psychology.
very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like super dark psychology. But when I was younger and I interned for Fox News, I did an article about, like, it was during the time of the Pickup Artist, the show, and the book, like, that Neil Strauss wrote. And I was just so fascinated with like human, like, it's just so fascinating. So I was like, oh, hi, can I write an article know about da-da-da? And they were like, yeah, sure, whatever. So I was like, amazing. So I interviewed Mystery. And then from there, I don't know. And then once we started our company, we were working with these amazing guys, but they were so successful in business, but with women, they were horrific. Like they were just so bad. So we were like, I want like a pickup artist would be so great. So we then interviewed like different pickup. I won't like smash their names because the interviews did not go well at all. But now we work with Thomas Edwards. He is the professional wingman. So he does a little bit of that dark psychology, but it's also very light and it's very applicable and like helpful for men as opposed to, not to say all pickup artists are like dark psychologists.
I'm not a
but
pickup.
like,
Can I?
I'm not taking that personally.
How do you apply to be a pickup artist?
No, I mean, no. It was a big deal back when it was a big deal. It was a big deal.
Oh yeah, when the show was around, Neil's.
Yeah.
I mean, the game was. I think the first
game.
book I've ever read that like got me into like the whole like self-improvement world, and it was a gateway book for me.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
I love that.
And he's such a good writer. He's such like a simple. My style is just very simple and easy to read. And
Have you heard his podcast?
yeah, he's great.
Live
yeah.
and Die in
Yeah,
LA.
He's incredible.
The best pod to live and die in LA.
Yeah.
Have you heard this? Oh my gosh, it is. You need to immediately, if you like
the podcast or the book?
To Live and Die in LA. It's the podcast.
Okay.
The book is incredible. Read it, but in this podcast format, To Live and Die in LA, it has nothing to do with dating, but it's so good.
Okay.
Neil Strauss he's a
incredible.
genius.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's a genius. He got divorced though.
No.
I know.
I didn't
I
know
was
that.
so sad. I know.
How
but
long were they together?
I'm not quite sure, but I was so excited when he was married because, there's nothing better than a guy that initially was like a player, just
Well, he's
falling
got
in
the most
love.
interesting story though, because he was like the nerdiest guy you'd ever meet. Right, his whole story. He started as like a super nerdy writer, and then went into this whole pickup world, and like had success with women, kind of changed his whole image, and then got married, and then I guess divorced. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still divorced. I need to check. Oh, yeah, he would be great to match, but he would be so fascinating. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where were we right before that? We were talking about.
Sorry.
You were saying very nice things to end the
Oh,
show.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry. You were ending the show. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is a great question because
Yeah.
I feel like someone like you that has all these things going on in your brain, if I was to ask you like a very basic question, you're going to be like, okay, well, there's this caveat, like there's all these different things. But maybe there's a takeaway because we went to see a woman named Amy Noble. Have you heard of her? She's a dating coach.
No. I'm sorry.
But she has some very hard like practical rules where
Mm-hmm.
she's like first date should be capped at an hour no matter what, right? Did she say that? Because we kind of walked in at the end.
I think so,
I think
yeah.
that was one of her rules. But do you have any sort of like tips that you tell your clients, not necessarily for the matchmaking, but for the dating?
Yeah.
Like for first dates specifically?
Absolutely. We don't cap it at an hour. We always say like 2 hour maximum is really good. And just it's okay. It doesn't have to be a 10-hour date for it to be an amazing date. So 2 hours is a great time. We say don't have sex until you're in a monogamous exclusive relationship. Like if you actually want love, just wait until it's exclusive for men and for women. It's like, and it's not even because, oh, women, you're going to be perceived as a slut. It's not that at all. It's because get to know each other without the sexual element to see if that foundation is even there. And for men, I mean, get to know the women, like just wait.
I agree.
Yeah, put your phone away during a date, just so basic, but some people just need to know that it's not cool to have it on the table blinking. Don't talk about former relationships on a date and save deep personal matters for later. So if you're on a date, I think a lot of times guys, when they meet like beautiful women, they'll want to name drop all the beautiful women that they've ever dated ever in their past. And they'll want to be like, oh yeah, well, I did this with my ex. I did that with this girl, that. Women don't want to hear that. Like just don't talk about your exes or women at all. Pretend like the Rihanna song, she's the only girl in the world. So like pretend that, because especially with beautiful women or any women in general, but I find that men tend to do that as like a defense mechanism when they're meeting with like beautiful women.
Yeah,
because
probably from an insecurity standpoint.
Exactly. Like we get that if we set up like, like the cover of Playboy or like a model, like a beautiful like guest cover model, and they'll be like, he was like talking about all these other girls, and we're like, really? Again? Like we have to.
You know what though? Like I think that if someone truly learns from their mistakes and knows not to do that, that's great. But if they're just hiding it, then it's going to come out eventually, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like that's why I actually kind of like to go a little deeper on first dates. Like nothing crazy, but like I don't mind if the conversation goes into like these really personal places, because then I can really get to know the person sooner. And I'm not asking them to spill all their secrets, because like I also think that
let's
you need
trauma
to,
bond.
right, exactly. And you need to like share your, save your intimacy for people that you want to bring into your life. But I do feel like going down some like deeper conversation tracks or is sometimes a good thing, so you can know sooner if you like somebody or not. But don't force it. But if it happens, then
Yeah.
I think so.
100%. I love that. I absolutely love that. I think that that's beautiful. We do a kind of general like sweep of that, just because we've had experiences where it becomes a therapy session. Like we've had, so we've learned like, okay, maybe just say that. And then the people that are more self-aware can obviously handle, they can handle it. But sometimes if you're not self-aware and you're just like, can I just tell you about the death of my guinea pig? It really scarred me.
Well, yeah, Ali, this has been amazing. Joe, do you have anything else? Or
No, like plug yourself.
Yeah,
Obviously,
tell the
Matchmakers
people.
in the city, right?
Yeah,
Instagram, website.
Yeah, everything. If you go on matchmakersinthecity.com, that's the best place. And then my Instagram is at matchmaker Alessandra Conti. So just write matchmaker ALE and then I'll pop up. Hopefully, algorithm, please. And then then Matchmakers in the City, just Matchmakers in the City. And we have a podcast, Dating in the City, and I need you guys on it.
We would love
it. We'd love to,
we're
yeah.
gonna book you guys in.
Cool.
ASAP.
Wait, so it's Alessandra, but Ali. So it's not
Alessandra. It's not Alessandra, but it's just like Ali is a cooler
Okay,
than,
well, I feel like we've become friends, all of us now. Yeah, this has been great.
And I always say the
Totally.
best podcasts go very, very quickly. And I think we're like an hour 20, right? Or hour 15. So this was
bless you guys can
an hour
crop
15. This is
out
amazing.
whatever you want.
No, this was amazing. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, Ali, thank you so much. This
It
is
was
awesome.
a pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Guys, check out Matchmakers in the City, and check out Ali, and we hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you.